Welcome to the Tell Me Something Good podcast. Ranked by the International Association of Awesome Podcasts as the best podcast in the history of podcasts. Wait, is that a thing? I don't think that's a thing. Anyway, seeking to shine a light on all that is good in an ever-darkening world of negativity. Here's your host, Clint Swindall.
Hey everybody, I'm Clint Swindall, and you have found your way to the Tell Me Something Good podcast, the show that is all about creating a more positive world by overcoming negativity. It is my goal each episode to engage your mind, encourage your heart, or enlighten your soul. I am so happy you're here. This is episode number 4 of the Tell Me Something Good podcast, entitled A Heart as Big as Texas, brought to you by Let's Talk Smack, an app that provides daily nudges to take your social media game to a whole new level. If you're wanting to have a more engaging presence on social media, either personally or professionally, you need a plan, and the Let's Talk Smack app can help you develop your plan. Check it out wherever you get your apps. Here we are, friends, episode number 4. If you are just now joining us, I would encourage you to jump back at some point and listen to episodes 1, 2, and 3. You'll discover the what, the why, and the how of this podcast, what we're hoping to accomplish, why we're even taking the time to do it, and how we'll do it every week. In the first episode, I shared with you that from time to time we'd have a guest on the show to focus on good people doing good stuff. Today, we'll do that for the first time. Before you meet my guest, I want to ask you a question. What are you enduring in your life right now? What stress or hardship are you facing at the moment? The coronavirus pandemic has tested the endurance of a lot of people. Even those who didn't seem to have much to endure before COVID-19 are struggling with something in their life as the result of the virus. Some people face hardship and stress every moment of their life. Some face short-term challenges. The challenge of a work deadline that has become a major headache. The challenge of entertaining children in new and creative ways. They are short-term challenges and are all real, daily hardships to endure. Other people face long-term challenges, the unknowns that come with illness, either personal illness or sickness of a loved one, or serious long-term financial hardships that seem insurmountable, long-term challenges that must be endured. The inability for some people to endure their challenges often leads to negativity. From time to time, we encounter someone who seems superhuman. We see their challenges and wonder how they can have such high levels of endurance. And when we sit in awe of their endurance, we become amazed by their generosity in the midst of the challenges they have to endure. My guest today fits that description to a T. I met him nearly 2 decades ago when we happened to have offices next to each other in a community office space. It wasn't long after we met that I learned of a struggle he was facing, one he has endured for 23 years now. In 1997, his 33-year-old wife, Jana, was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. With a 3-year-old daughter and the angst that comes with not knowing what to do, he faced a future of ambiguity. Although his future was filled with uncertainty, there was one thing to which he was certain. He was going to do something to help others in the same situation. The year after her diagnosis, he created the Teed Off It Cancer golf tournament, an event that has grown to be one of the largest charity events in the city of San Antonio. Over time, their mission evolved to provide immediate hope and comfort to children battling cancer and their families. Because cancer hits hard, but hope hits harder. You are about to meet the founder, president, and CEO of Hope Hits Harder, Mr. Tommy T-Bone Bounds. I spent some time chatting with T-Bone earlier, so let's join the conversation. I am just happy you agreed to be our very first guest on the Tell Me Something Good podcast. You and I have known each other, I don't know if you realize this or not, but for nearly 2 decades now.
Yeah, I would say that's about right.
Yeah, and I've had the chance to see the impact you've had in the community, from raising money for your own events to raising money for other events to making a difference in the lives of some incredible kiddos who are struggling with cancer, and to just being a great presence in the San Antonio community. And when I think of a good person out there doing good stuff, My friend, you're at the top of the list.
You're very kind, Clint. Thank you for saying that.
So with that in mind, tell me something good. What good is happening in your life right now, T-Bone?
During this COVID-19 crisis, Clint, that everybody was down in the doldrums and things aren't the way it used to be and nobody likes change. And I found the goodness in these people. It's amazing how you think nobody cares. And I was speaking to a couple of the hospitals over the last 2 months. And we talked about the concerns that they had for children with compromised immune systems from battling cancer. And that they were afraid that because of that they couldn't go out, they couldn't shop, and they couldn't be with their families out besides the home. And I know that a lot of these families that I deal with are about 80% of our indigent patients. And if they lose one income, they're in desperate need. And I was talking to Jana as well, and I said, it would be really great if we could do something in this community that would make a difference. And I spoke with the hospitals, and they all were in agreement. They said, if you could come up with a plan that could make a difference in these families and feed them during this tough time, what a wonderful gesture it would be. So I reached out to restaurant operators and vendors who work for me. I don't want to say work for me, but have donated their time to help Hope Hits Harder, because each year, we do our big event. They donate their product. I asked them, I would like to pay for this meals. And if you could provide service and delivery of hot meals to these families. They said, well, we're not prepared to do delivery, but let's work on it. Clint, within 2 days, I had 6 restaurants that all said, we have ways to provide the product. We will individually wrap it. We will make sure it's hot, and we will deliver it directly to the families. So not knowing the cost of this at the time, we really hadn't budgeted in Hope Hits Harder program. So I reached out on social media and I sent out some emails, and Ken Spy put me on TV. Man, I tell you, I could be an evangelist on TV, buddy, because when I got done talking, we had over 200 donations. Now, it cost me $10 a meal, $11 a meal, and we had 200 donations within 24 hours of people wanting to give back to those in need. So I'm sitting there thinking to myself, everybody's in a tough situation right now, but look at the goodness that came out of this. People who says, even though that we are tight on finances because we haven't been able to work, they were able to give me from $10. And I even had some that went all the way up to several $1,000s. Within the last 12 weeks, we were able to feed over 4,000 meals to families that had a child with a compromised immune system. That, my friend, is good, and that's God helping us out.
You ain't lying. It couldn't have happened without God, and it couldn't have happened without great people supporting what you were doing, and it couldn't have happened without you and Jana taking the lead. Without question, anytime an effort like that takes place, and what an incredible, incredible thing. I have goosebumps right now just thinking about the impact that you had in those people's lives. And these things don't happen just because they happen. They happen because God uses us however he sees fit. And all we have to do is be obedient. And you were certainly obedient in that case. When I look around the city of San Antonio and I think of people who are obedient, who step up, and a lot of times it's the same people over and over and over. It's just because that's what's been put on their heart. You're obviously one of those. When you think about San Antonio and you think about all the need that we have, and you think about how you can have an impact, when you think of others who do it, who do you admire in our community? Who do you look at and say, wow, I get some of my inspiration from what I see them do in our community?
Well, one, and I'm not trying to blow smoke up, but you and Heather, Clint, as a dear friend that you are to me, I'm admired by what you guys have done, because you basically kind of did what I did, where you have started with nothing and started raising money to give to others. I mean, you see the picture. And anytime that I see people that see that picture and start with nothing and make it into something, it's a big A+ for me. We have a great city. We've got the best people for giving. And it doesn't matter to me, and you know this as well, it doesn't matter if it's $10 or $1,000. It's you have made a difference in a person's life by making that donation.
It's one of the things I love about our city, that there are just so many good people. And I think when you really look at places around the country, it's awesome. San Antonio is our backyard, so we see the people that are making a big difference in our community. But I think everybody even listening to this podcast right now, the message is that anybody can be used. Anybody can step up. Anybody can look and see a need. There's need all around us. All we have to do is be willing to say, you know what, this isn't intended for me to just think about. This is intended for me to take action on, and I'm willing to step up and do that.
You have the opportunity. Everybody has an opportunity to make a difference. And that opportunity doesn't have to be like you or me being on a stage, raising money. It's making a difference when you open that door, or you smile at someone, or you say something nice to someone, pick something up for someone. That's making a difference. And what's great about our life right now is that we don't know what we've done. I mean, I've had a family that sent me a letter that just made me cry, because what I thought was so small was so huge to this family. And it just blew me away. And it just made me realize that it doesn't take a lot to make a difference. All it takes is an effort to do it.
Well said, my friend. It's not big stuff. You and I have been able to stand on a stage and somehow encourage an audience full of people to give hundreds of thousands of dollars in one single sitting. But that's not what it takes to make a difference in this world. Like you said, it's as simple as holding a door open. It's as simple as smiling at somebody when they need a smile. It's as simple as saying a kind word when they need a kind word. You are absolutely right. And when I was thinking about you being our first guest, I was thinking about all the different topics that we could talk about. And we could talk about philanthropy, we could talk about attitude, we could talk about strength. When I thought about your life, I thought about endurance, because you not only have endured challenges in your life, you've worked hard to help others endure their challenges. Now, the one thing we know is that no one has a perfect life. We all have issues. Some present a good life despite the challenges, while others share their bad life with the world. And as long as I've known you, I've never seen you present your challenges to the world with a woe is me attitude. And anybody that knows you have them, but you don't present it that way. And I'm just curious, where does that come from?
Faith. I really do believe, as our situation with my wife's illness has been a challenge for 23 years. And the faith that I have and the strength that I have comes from, of course, Jana, who is probably the most unbelievable person I ever known, and God. And both of those have made me realize we could sit back and cry about all of this. And we could say, like you said, woe is me, or we could take this negative and make it into a positive. And when it was before Jana got sick, Clint, it was about me. I was the man and everything. And then when Jana got sick, and then I wanted to do something because so many people took care of us and took care of Jack at the time. She was 3, my daughter. And that's when we started just dropping off toys up at the hospital for the children. And I realized then that it wasn't about us. It was about doing stuff for others. And to make that difference, even though that we had that negative, even with the negative of Jana's illness, we have truly been blessed by doing what we've been doing. And I thank God for that opportunity.
And, not only is that impactful to hear that even in the face of all the challenges that you have, and a 23-year challenge, I mean, some people face a challenge for 3 months. Some people face their challenge for it's a financial challenge. And for a year, boy, they really struggled. You have faced a challenge that is almost incomprehensible to a lot of people, that yours has lasted for 23 years. It truly is the definition of endurance. And to not just endure it, not just to face it, because that's what life has given you, but to endure that in the process of helping other people and saying, look, we're going to turn this negative into a positive, and we're going to make a difference in the lives of people who have been impacted by this as well. That's one of the greatest parts of the story for me, is it's not just about enduring it. It's about saying, you know what, while we're enduring it, we're going to make a positive difference in the lives of people around us.
You get a choice,
I talk so much on this podcast about choice. We get to choose whether or not we see the good in something. We get to choose whether we see the bad. We get to choose to bounce out of bed or drag ourselves out of the bed. It's all about choice. And you are 100% right that when you were faced with your challenge, when you and Jana had to face it down, you had a choice. You could have sat and wallowed around in it, or you could say, it is what it is. Let's go make a difference in somebody's life.
And buddy, we're still working at it too.
You mentioned hope hits harder earlier, and I talked a little bit about it in the introduction prior to our interview, and so our listeners know a little bit about it. And I just have to tell you, T-Bone, I mean, the work you do for kids with cancer is absolutely amazing. Tell us a little bit about what you do in the foundation.
Well, one thing is, of course, we fell in love. Everybody wanted to know, why children? I said, well, I love kids, and I can get to be a kid around the kids. Hope It's Harder is a 21 or 22 years been around. One of the things that we do is we provide what we call a hope bag. And hope means helping others persevere every day. And every family that is admitted to the 3 pediatric oncology hospitals receive this huge bag. And in that is your toiletries and your sundries and your parking permits and your gas cards, blankets, thermometers, everything that a family needs during that 3 weeks of crisis mode. Because, most of these people have come in, Clint, and don't even know that they're going to be staying. I had a girl from El Paso. Her mom came in, didn't know how she got there, and she'd been sleeping with her daughter for 3 days. She'd received one of our bags and never ever opened it up, didn't know there was money in it or anything. And she finally opened it up after the 3rd day, and she saw, all the essentials that was in there, to help her. But what struck her the most was, Clint, there was a bottle of Bravo detergent soap. And she found me and she told me, she goes, it wasn't the money and it wasn't that. It was, I could take that soap and go down and wash my clothes and be back and lay with my daughter. And I had been in these clothes for 3 days. The small things in life that we do, or like I said earlier, they're huge. Mm-hmm. So we provide that for the families. We started a program last year for teenagers because we noticed a lot of the things that we were providing didn't help out the teenagers so much. So we now provide a teenage backpack that's really cool with iPods, speakers, chargers, everything that a teenager wants. And those are the 2 projects that we work on. And then, of course, we do Flashes of Hope, which is we bring in professional photographers and makeup artists and hairstylists, and we do beautiful portraits of these families. And when the kids get bored and when the COVID-19's over with, we bring Magic Theater in and we do production for these families. And they have theater. I partnered with Garth Brooks, and we are opening up a 4,200 square foot play area along with a music studio and production studio at Children's Hospital. So if it's a project or a program, we're doing it. As long as it benefits the family and the kids and it puts a smile on that child's face.
We all hope that when we're gone from this earth, that the good stuff we've done lives on in the lives of those we've encountered. So in 150 years, everyone listening today is gone from this earth. Someone in the future picks up a book about your life, T-Bone. What would the title of that book be, and what would the blurb tell us about T-Bone?
Well, I'm going to copyright this, but one of the favorite sayings that I have is, always believe that something good is going to happen tomorrow. I just believe that you take each day and just realize that tomorrow you're going to do something good again. That to me is always believe something good is going to happen tomorrow.
I mentioned to you from the beginning that I've always thought a lot of you. I've always admired the impact that you have in the community and the willingness that you have to step up and stand in the gap and to do great things. I assume you probably consider that a compliment. I'm curious, though, when you think of your life and you think of people who have told you that you've done well, what's the best compliment you've ever received?
I think from my dad before he died. He said, "You're doing good, boy. You're doing good." I mean, my dad was, he came from the Depression. He was, not a whole lot of love or affection was shown. And, I didn't do this for him, but for him to say, "You've done good, boy. I'm proud of you." That's good for me.
You bet. And to hear it from your father, man, that's pretty cool.
Which I wish he was still here because he would be blown away.
So one last question.
Yeah.
Your time on this earth is over.
Yep.
You arrive at the gates of heaven and you meet your maker. What do you hope to hear, T-Bone?
Well, let me just tell you this. My old saying is, if Jan and I go together, Jana gets the easy pass. I'm going to be like sneaking up behind her, and he's going to go, whoa, 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 T-Bone, where are you going? I said, I'm with her. I go, oh, no, buddy, we got some things to talk about. Clint, as you know, we're all sinners, and we've all had our runs and everything. But it would be great to hear the man say, you done good, T-Bone. I'm proud of you. Come on in.
You heard it from your father on earth. Just kind of hoping to hear it from your father in heaven, too.
Amen.
I've told Heather on many occasions that if we go together and we get to the gate, I said, you're going to need to go in front of me because I'm going to be a while because I have to explain my 20s. And so you don't want to have to stand that long.
Yeah, your feet are going to start hurting if you're that long. Anyway, but it's the life that God has given us, and we're doing the best that we can with it, my friend.
And hey, I am curious, as one last thought here, if somebody wants to help T-Bone and Hope Hits Harder, where do they need to go?
They go to www.hopehitsharder.com.
Outstanding, outstanding. You never know who God will put some earbuds in their ear to hear a message that says, you know what, that's my cause that I need to support. So we just want to make sure that the listeners have that opportunity.
Buddy, we got to go have some margaritas.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Even if we have to sit 6 feet apart, we can still sit 6 feet apart and have a margarita.
As long as I can see you and your pretty wife's face, I 6 feet's good. I can just sit there and just admire you guys. I'll be fine.
I'm good with that. We'll have to arrange a little trip up to our little Mexican food hangout up there. T-Bone, you're the man, brother. I'm so thankful that you came on our show and were willing to spend a little time with us, man. This was awesome. And hey, by the way, because you were our very first guest, we're going to send you a little love somehow. I don't know in this COVID-19 world how we're going to get it to you, but we're going to send you a Tell Me Something Good gift package that's going to have some good logoed stuff in there, a T-shirt and a challenge coin and some really awesome stuff we're going to send to you. This is our way of saying thank you for being our first guest.
Listen, you give Heather my love and love you, buddy, and keep doing what you're doing, and we'll just keep moving forward day by day and keep marching.
You got it, my friend. Love you, brother. All the best.
All right. Talk to you. Bye-bye.
Anytime I'm around T-Bone, I feel inspired to do great things. The work he is doing is significant and meaningful. What an impact he is making. Our thoughts and prayers go out to T-Bone and his family, and we lift up his wife, Jana, and pray for strength in her battle with cancer. All right, everybody, we are running out of time. Before I give you a challenge to complete before you come back for the next episode, I want to remind you that this episode has been brought to you by Let's Talk Smack, an app that provides daily nudges to take your social media game to a whole new level. If you're wanting to have a more engaging presence on social media, either personally or professionally, you need a plan, and the Let's Talk Smack app can help you develop your plan. Check it out wherever you get your apps. And now for the challenge. I want you to spend some time thinking about the answers to a series of questions that came from today's interview. Is there a need in your community, big or small, you can help with by giving your time, talent, or treasure? For some, the calling may be to do something big, like start a foundation and raise a ton of money for a worthy cause. For others, it may simply be donating your time and talent to a worthy organization. It could be volunteering to serve meals at a food pantry. It could be going to a senior living facility and waving at the residents through a window. Do you have a faith strong enough to help you endure the challenges life sends your way, whether it's a short-term financial challenge or a 23-year health challenge? Could you sum up your life in the title of a book? And is there someone needing to hear a compliment from you that they would carry with them for the rest of their life? Do me a favor and pray about these things and see what God puts on your heart. If you don't already know what to do, He'll tell you if you're willing to listen, and then make a commitment to doing something to have a positive impact on someone's life. Well, that's all for today's episode of the Tell Me Something Good podcast. I sure hope you'll come back for the next episode. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. And don't forget, leave me a rating and a review. Your support can help someone else as we work to spread positivity to the world. To encourage you to leave a review, we're going to give something away. If you leave a review, you'll be entered into a drawing for a Tell Me Something Good gift package. The package includes all kinds of awesome stuff, including an array of Tell Me Something Good logoed items, including a t-shirt and custom challenge coin. We'll also include a signed copy of my first book, Engaged Leadership. All you need to do is leave a review and you are entered. Also, visit findthegoodinlife.com. While you're there, you can find everything related to Tell Me Something Good, all the links to join us on social media, and a place to share your good stuff or ask questions for the podcast. Thanks for listening. Until next week, I'll be praying for God to bless you in mighty ways. Now, get out there and love on somebody.
You've been listening to the Tell Me Something Good podcast. The content of the podcast is meant to engage, encourage, and enlighten you to become more positive. It's not meant to diagnose, treat, or replace the personalized care provided by a trained professional. If you're struggling with depression or mental health issues, please reach out to a counselor for diagnosis and treatment. Until next time, be positive, people.